Hey, what's up guys? This is Mage, and you've probably completely forgotten about me by now, but if not, I appreciate you're still coming back to watch this. For those of you that somehow have managed to get this far and never heard my voice, maybe you've just watched Soso play or had some experience along those lines, then I am the founder and creator of both the FML YouTube channel and the FML Twitch stream. I used to be pretty active in doing casting, but work has kicked my ass recently. And hopefully we are good for me to come back for a little while at least. August should be pretty good to me, so I'm going to try and make as many appearances as possible. Here we have a game that was recommended by Magadansky on FFAreplays.com. I know absolutely nothing about it, aside from the fact that he said it was the best replay ever, and vampires never lie, so we're going to hope that's continue to be the case in my prolonged absence. This is a buggy version of Silverpine, apparently. It's got some map modifications to it. I'm not exactly sure what map modifications were made, or who they were made by. For all I know, it could have been one of the FML admin team members. But we shall discover them as we go along, and you'll know that my genuine surprise is actually me just not having a clue what's going on. It's not acting, folks. I'm really just that bad a caster. But we'll start in the bottom corner, where we have Ostone. He is playing Undead. He is a prolific orc player, has pulled in several very impressive tournament finishes, and not a bad Undead player either, although we'll see if it's improved in my absence. To the left of him, and going clockwise, we have Soso, further pronounced just Soso because I'm American, and probably going to butcher trying to say Zete the entire time. He is playing human, his main race. Recent accomplishments include winning King of Free-For-All 3, the only player not named Renault to manage that task. He has scouted to his right and should have a pretty easy time expanding that way. But speaking of expansions, we have Fetta, and he is not going to be able to get an expansion up because in his style he's going for quick Blade Master, quick tech, and he is in the surround. So the moment that he gets scouted out, I think somebody's going to try and take him out early on, unless FML players have become a lot more forgiving since the last time I watched. And to the right of him, we have Junkerz, who usually is playing Undead, and apparently decided to swap things up, and like Ostone, he's playing an off-race, going for human this time, and a quick rifle build, it looks like. He looks like he'll be going for a Tavern Hero. I'm not sure who he's going to choose to go with that, honestly. Maybe an Alchemist. That would seem to be, yep, it is an Alchemist indeed, so good hero for this map, and good hero for human in general. You definitely do lack out on some of the important aspects that you get from having your Archmage, Mountain King, and Paladin, the normal human combination there, but we've seen Alchemist be played with great success, most notably by HTRT, or Piz as he may be known to some of you in the solo community. And just looking around early on, not much interesting going on. It does look like Soso is going pretty standard. We've got a pretty standard build for Ostone as well. Interesting to note that Soso has not yet started his tech, and neither has Junkerz. So both of them will be going for that first expansion before trying to get the tech going, whereas Ostone is in the complete opposite shoes here, most likely because of the fact that he's going for a Blade Master solo, and actually he does have his expansion about a third of the way done right now. It is being attacked by creeps, but that's not going to prevent it from going up, and so he's going to successfully take this down with just the Blade Master. He'll have a expansion that'll go up just as quickly as human players probably with the quick builds, and he's going to hit tier 2 a while before anyone else. So if he can convert and get some early Wyverns out, then he may be in very good shape. But he's not going to be in as good a shape as Ostone, who has the entire side of the map to himself, and has not started the tech yet, but has started his expansion, which good timing for a Undead player in getting that up. And he'll be very easily able to get the Death Knight up to level 4, Lich up to level 2, and Dreadlord up to level 1. The question will be, who is going to be able to grab some of these early creep camps in the middle here, because those are the best items, and it looks like Soso is going to try and grab one now. Ostone definitely has the ability to, with Fiends, they are great for taking out those red creep camps early on. And here we go, we already have Junkerz saying he's going to go ahead and suicide Fetta for that Blade Master harassment. Really hasn't done very much, just taking down some of these peasants, and this is the annoyance of having a Blade Master in the game that decides to devote some time to harassment. It really can slow down your Town Hall. However, Fetta does have to be careful because Junkerz is not kidding. He will try to suicide him if that position becomes available. we can see that Soso is going ahead and pulling. It looks like he's just going for... Nope, he will be going for the creep. Gets out the Goblin Shredder. And for those of you unfamiliar with the map, that is really essential when you're taking on these creep camps. The Shredder does great melee damage and can tank a lot. And interestingly enough, Soso is not pulling these back to attack him. He is legitimately just not going for it. So that is really somewhat of an interesting strategy on his part to not try and take it out early on, because he should be able to. Junkerz, on the other hand, is committed to going ahead and trying to take down Fetta's early expansion here. Doing some harassment damage, not going to be able to actually take out the Great Hall, but should be able to do a fair bit of damage on the peons and perhaps make it too costly to have been worth the while harassing early on. Junkerz going to lose the Rifleman early on here. We do have the TC and the Blade Master out, but the TC is going to go down, it looks like. I'm guessing the Alchemist should be able to chase him down without too much problem. And, nope, actually decides to let him get away there. And, okay, there we go. Now the Alchemist is going to go ahead and take down the TC. And that is the first hero kill of the game. First blood goes to Junkerz here. And perhaps I've been watching a little too much of the International 5 if I'm saying first blood. Let's just take a quick look around the map, though. We got Halls of the Dead halfway completed for Ostone. He's sitting about 500, 250, has his expansion up and running, but is missing 2 Acolytes, which are coming out now. Somewhat surprising, Ostone has not yet started creeping his second expansion, as opposed to Soso, who is going to creep his second expansion right now. And this is something... Ooh, loses a footman pretty carelessly there. Kind of odd to see Soso play it like that. But this is something that you really do notice makes a big difference. If you can grab the second expansion as one of the middle ones, you're going to get it up a lot quicker. Usually you'll be able to come to a peaceful resolution with your other players so that you're not attacking each other and trading suicides on the expansions. Fetta and Junkerz notwithstanding, of course. And really it's just a much better deal to grab the inside mines here as opposed to having to wait for the red camps to open up. Back up here in our Suicide War, we do have Fetta with a Raider out now, and he may be going to try and snipe down this Alchemist. There we go. We do see the Raider goes ahead and gets it off, and the Alchemist just too quick, though, even for that Blade Master. No boots on either hero yet. Somewhat surprised about that. Torrent Chieftain is coming back. Maybe he'll go pick up boots now. But it looks like he is just queued, actually, to follow along there. So here we go. We do have Ostone going ahead, and he'll grab his second expansion now as well. We've got a couple of Acolytes on the way in, and this is a really interesting part. We are 7.5 minutes into the game, and not a single red camp has been touched. This is probably partially because of the fact that we just don't have any of our normal players involved in terms of we've got players TPing out here. Junkerz is deciding that he really is going to suicide Fetta. Fetta is deciding he really doesn't care and is going to try and get his Blade Master killed as he comes in here. So 2 of 4 players are not yet on the board in terms of really getting a chance to creep. That's leaving Ostone and Soso in great position to be able to do whatever they want, and Ostone is going to go ahead and take down one of these Ogre Lords early on. Picking an interesting place to start. Looks like he picks up a Crystal Ball there as his item. Can't tell if he had pulled... Obviously, these are 2 of the red creep camps here. I can't tell if he pulled one out earlier and took the Ogre Lord from the shop here. Seems like that is probably the most likely case. Sorry, Tavern. Nope. Goblin. As you can see, I have not paid much attention to free-for-all in a while. And actually, hold on, I'm going to pause this for 1 second. Turns out I'm having some upload issues, so sorry about that. We will be back in 2 seconds. Sorry, anyway, as I was saying, it looks like Ostone has managed to grab 2 of the major creep items here. I'm guessing a Lord got creeped away, so still in the bottom left marketplace, and the laboratory in the top left, I believe, still has it, because I didn't see Soso manage to take it down. So I'm guessing he took out the red creep camp in the bottom right Goblin Lab. Ostone does have his second expansion on the way up now as we're speaking. Junkerz continues to creep with the Paladin that he just got out. Alchemist should be back momentarily. It's got another 10-15 seconds left on it, and it does look like Fetta is going to go ahead and hold off, not suiciding anybody as we speak. And if you look in here, he does have Fortress about 2/4 of the way done, 40% there. He's got 1 Bestiary out, Spirit Lodge on the way. Now he does have his Great Hall up and running for the expansion, but he is pretty low. He's got 140 wood right now. He's fine on gold because he really hasn't had a chance for anybody to harass him. Excuse me, sorry. Not harass him. He has not had a chance Nice job going in there by Ostone and having a good creep jack here. Does not manage to take the experience away there, however, does get a good position to grab the item. And let's see. Looks like he just may have killed it off. I don't see either of the heroes having that item. Interesting. If only we had a rewind button here. But yeah, nice job by Ostone creeping this, and he'll get level 5 on the Death Knight there. Lich is up to level 2, and we've got Black Citadel almost completely finished. Here we go, we do have Fetta, and looks like actually we're going to have Junkerz go ahead and continue to attack the Great Hall. Rotan, this is a replay. I wish I had a live game, but was not able to get enough people together on such short notice. And then we're actually having action on both sides here. We've got Ostone taking on Soso. Soso is at 48 to 66. He is super low on wood, though. Ostone actually in pretty good shape here, although all the players are not in the ideal position wood-wise. And Fetta here could be in a lot of trouble. Rifle and Sorceresses, not a bad combination to push right here, especially against an Orc who you know has not yet gotten his Tier 3 upgrades done. Shadow Hunter not on the way out, somewhat surprising there, and Soso is going to have that be brought most of the way down, shouldn't die completely to Skeletons though. Ostone going to back off because there is a little bit of creeping left to be done here, and Soso leaving a few flying machines there idle. Could be scouting out a little bit better, but may get a lucky line of sight here regardless. Junkerz looks like he is committed to finishing this off. He's in decent position, 50 food still, so none of our players are breaking in order to bank. And here we go. Fetta trying to take on Junkerz, taking out a few of these rifles now, and using an illusion, actually. Probably not to the worst effect I've ever seen. Tauren Chieftain is getting targeted, as does the Paladin. And here we go. We're going to have Junkerz try and tower this up to finish it off, it looks like. Level 2 Paladin coming in handy there. Fetta trying to take down this Blade Master. No mana for a Windwalk, but should be in decent shape still in order to get away there. Down in the bottom left, we can see Soso taking out another red camp. Same thing with Ostone in the top right. Lich is up to level 3. We've got the Dreadlord on the way for him. 3 heroes out here for Soso. Mountain King and Paladin, both relatively low in terms of experience. Mountain King did just hit level 2, though. Archmage not yet level 5. And probably should be able to get it with all the creeps on this map. Both he and Ostone have been in great position to gain some extra experience here, solely from the fact that we had Fetta and Junkerz duking it out early on, or perhaps suiciding is a better word for it. Take a quick look around the map here. We do have Mass Gargoyles coming out for Ostone. He is breaking up to 80. And we will see, I believe he's got probably 2-1 upgrades at this point. Yep, exactly right there. And he's got another 15 food to pump out before he goes ahead and hits most likely. He's got 2 expansions up and running, doing pretty well right now at 700 gold, 400 wood, 80 food now. But the tanks are out here for Soso, and it'll be interesting to see if Ostone is in a position where he's able to deal with those yet. Has to be very careful he doesn't let this go down to 2 tanks, but it is going to be a pretty good trade-off here for Soso. Those will go down on the other side of the map. We are having a TP out for the Blade Master. Tauren Chieftain went down to the Alchemist Paladin combination, and Junkerz getting his second expansion in a little bit of an odd way. Soso continuing his harassment of Ostone's expansions here. He's really putting on good pressure before he needs to worry about Ostone coming after him, and that's really the only way that Undead is able to do some damage is by harassing, kiting, all that good stuff. Soso taking that option out of the map here, and we'll see if Soso is able to take on this full Gargoyle army. Has to be careful he doesn't lose any of his heroes along the way, and escapes with nothing. Oh, Knight does go down there at the very end. That'll be level 2 for the Dreadlord. We've got 532 for Ostone. He is at 77 of 70. Needs to get a few more zigs up, and needs to get some zigs up in his main because they're going down at the expansions very, very quickly. But this is his chance to go ahead and push on Soso a little bit if he wants. Soso adding his 3rd Town Hall as we speak, 3rd expansion. So he's going to try and just play the economy game and tome Ostone. He's done a nice enough job scouting the other players to know that Junkerz and Fetta have kind of taken themselves out of the game, unless they manage to cooperate, which seems like it's going to be unlikely. Fetta is at 50 of 80, 700, 300, just getting the Torn Chieftain back now, does not have a Shadow Hunter. Blademaster is alive and just doing a little bit of harassment damage here, but he is not in great shape, and Junkerz, despite a rough early game, is starting to take advantage of this. He had to deal with having less gold early on because of the harassment at his expansion, but he should be in decent shape if he can continue to tome Fetta to put himself in position to be at least a kingmaker in the three-way and hopefully have them duke it out to ruin each other, basically. Now we see that Soso is getting some serious harassment here. All the peasants have gone down at that expansion. Second expansion peasants going down as we speak, and it looks like he's moving to try and take out the third as well. We'll see if he can manage to take out some of these tanks before they get to his expansion, because he is going to have to TP then. Has to be careful not to have these gargoyles too far away unless he wants to try and fight with just fiends and his heroes, which is certainly a possibility. Blademaster is getting low here, and we see that the Staff of TP allows them to get out there. Not a huge deal, but the Necro is going to go down here for Ostone, and this has definitely been a very chaotic early game here. Ostone has to be careful that he does not completely lose the expansion. As you can see, despite chasing after that tank for a while, not doing a whole lot of help taking it down. Junkerz is going to be pleasantly surprised to discover that there is actually a full red creep camp here left. He can get his Goblin Shredder, but we'll go back over to the fight here between Ostone and Soso. Ostone's destroys 2-1 armor still, needs to get that extra armor upgrade. They are not having a good time. Fiends have gone down already, and really the only advantage Ostone has in this fight is his heroes. The gargoyles are on the side of the map, still managing to do some harassment damage, and there we go. That's what you needed to see, was that nuke on the Archmage early on. Force the TP out. Let's see if the TP was to the expansion or not. No, so gargoyles will complete taking out this expansion, and we'll see if he can manage to take out a few more of them as well before the fight is said and done. But here we can see starting to stack up. So Alchemist has Circlet, Boots Speed, Vitality, Push and Girder Healing, Claws +9. Not great items. He hasn't really had the gold to purchase a lot yet. And there we go. We have Fetta continuing to harass other players as well. Good job there. So Staff, Boots, and Vitality. And then we do have the Pipe of Insight. So a nice item here for Junkerz, somewhat making up for the fact that he doesn't have the Archmage. Certainly not as good as level 3 Aura would be, but it will help to negate a little bit and get some of that mana back while adding in the DPS your Alchemist can provide. So he's now up to 4, 3, and 1. You can see he went for the Mountain King third here, which is somewhat odd since usually you see the Mountain King as a second, but the reason for that is you need the Paladin to keep the Alchemist alive early on, especially when you're having fights like that they had. And there we go. Ostone is now doing some damage, quickly taking out some of these Griffins. And let's see. Yep, so that was the Ogre Lord taken out there early on. Soso with 5 tanks on the way to go take out some of Ostone's expansions. I wonder if he's going to be surprised when he finds out that actually Fetta has this. But we can see Fetta now back to doing some more harassment damage to Junkerz. Really not doing enough to make a huge difference. But you do wonder at what point Junkerz is going to add a few extra towers in here just to prevent any of the damage from being done. Soso decides he doesn't need to pick a fight with Fetta and instead backs off, lets him have that. Blademaster does go down there as we see the Mountain King came in to kill it, I'm sure. And Fetta now down to 200 gold, 600 wood, 58 supply. Shadow Hunter is on the way out now, but that means he's not going to be able to get his Blademaster back for a little bit yet. And Archmage still not level 5. I'm not sure if there wasn't enough experience here or what, but somewhat surprised to see Soso not pulling away the rest of his troops, trying to get as close to level 5 as he possibly can. And here we go. We've got pure tanks versus gargoyles right now. Not a good fight for the gargoyles, and there we go. Ostone wisely backing them off. However, he has not yet brought the heroes around to try and kill some of these tanks, since they are costly. Up here we do have Junkerz now starting to put in a really decent siege, but he's going to discover that there are a number of towers involved, and probably could use a few mortars to throw in here, especially with all the casters. But if he can take that altar out, then he'll really save himself a lot of peasants dying. And it does look like that will be in the cards. We do see Hex go off on the Alchemist, but Alchemist is back already. And here we go. It looks like it's a little closer than I thought, but there we go. Does go down now, so Junkerz, mission accomplished. And we now have Fetta attacking Soso, perhaps? I'm still confused as to what's going on there. Ostone is going for another takedown on this expansion. And now tanks are in Ostone's natural expansion. This is as close to his regular base as they've gotten so far. And we'll see if Ostone feels the pressure to go defend himself from Soso, or if he just continues to let them trapeze through there. We do see that there are 2 meat wagons out. Good counter to the siege engines, but they only have level 1 upgrades right now. Level 3 will make a big difference whenever they come about. Junkerz continuing to do a slow siege of Fetta here. Fetta really not in good shape. Does not look like he's taverned back his Blade Master. And there we go, we do see the last siege engine die to Ostone. So overall it's been very interesting early game. Ostone putting up his second expansion. Let's take a look at his main base. He's 78 of 70, so we can see he's really hurting for food right now. TP does go out there for Fetta. And he's got his second expansion going up as we speak. Also taking out some of Soso. So Soso has 1 expansion going down. He's got 2 up and running. And he continues to creep as well. He's got level 5, level 4, level 3, level 2. And he's gone for mostly breaker tank army. Pretty standard here. How do we have level 4 upgrades? Who the hell thought it was a good idea to put level 4 upgrades on tanks? What the fuck? Really? Alright, so whoever designed this map, we can clearly tell it was a human. Because nobody in their right mind has ever thought that that was a good idea. Like, really, ever thought that was a good idea. So we may just see mass tanks out of Soso. It sounds like a winning strategy to me. Anyway, he's got 72 of 96. He is low on both gold and wood, though, and he's really had to play hard defense against these gargoyles and destroyers. As we can see, Ostone trying to take them down. We are going to have a fight in the base, and we're going to see one of these towers go down, the other canceled, and let's see if they just go for a pure nuke on the Archmage. The Dreadlord is getting low, does have greater healing, scroll of healing, and the DK there. DK is level 6 for Ostone. Not sure how much that's really going to help, but there we go. Paladin beautifully TP'd out there. Surprised that Ostone did not try to just burn the Dreadlord and let that die. He could have taken out the Archmage or the Mountain King there if he had just sacrificed the Dreadlord. Perhaps a good micro move, but not the best strategic move in that sense. Here we go, we do have Fetta trying to take on Junkerz now, getting drawn out of his base. He is in bad position for Junkerz. This is exactly what Junkerz needs, though, is the ability to take down some of these Tauren and get a bunch of experience, because he does not have the same levels that we've seen the other players yet, despite being in a decent position. And actually, it looks like Fetta's going to be able to drive him back a little bit. Haven't seen anything go down for Junkerz yet, although it looks like some of these rifles may momentarily. But you can tell that the combination of slow and, I presume he's using some polymorph that I just haven't caught yet, really helping him out here. And Fetta nicely using the illusions, actually. He's managed to draw off a good bit of DPS. But here we go, Ostone is right back at it, and there we go, Soso's Archmage does go down. This is where the high-level heroes that Ostone has going to play a big difference. Let's see how many of these siege engines he can get down. Soso not paying much attention to them right now, and this could be a problem for him. One of them goes down, that's level 4 on the Dreadlord. We're going to see the expansion go down before too long as well, I would guess. And we've also got the Gargoyles up here harassing a different expansion. So Ostone doing a very nice job splitting his army up right now and trying to take down as much as he can. Soso not in a position where he can afford to lose these siege engines. Thank you, Maga. You're only about 5 minutes behind where I figured this out. But yeah, level 4 on the tank seems really fair, right? Maybe the Undead gets up to level 10 upgrades or something like that. But there we go, we do see that expansion going down. We've got the Gargoyles brought back into the fold. Ostone is at 2,000 gold, 1,500 wood, and in the best position heroes-wise. 2 expansions up and running without being touched. Really think that he's in a very solid position to win this game right now. We never really got to go beyond Soso, so he's in the same position. Fetta, on the other hand, at 90 of 100, so he has managed to get that army up. He's got 0-2 upgrades on the Tauren, decent amount of casters. He's really created a decent army to fight off what Junkerz had. The problem is Junkerz now has included quite a few Griffin Riders here, and those are just going to demolish these Tauren. He also has only 1 expansion, Fetta that being the he there, and he's just going to feed Junkerz right now. I mean, Junkerz should easily get level 5 on the Alchemist, probably level 5 on the Paladin, and perhaps level 4 on the Mountain King when all is said and done here. Honestly, it's in Junker's best bet to go ahead and let Fetta revive some of these Tauren and keep killing them off for experience. He just has to be careful that he doesn't accidentally lose one of these heroes. Can see Alchemist getting a little low there, but Paladin goes ahead, heals that up pretty quickly. And Mountain King also getting a little low here. Paladin has... Get back here, little Paladin. There we go. Paladin's got enough for several more heals, and the Tauren Chieftain going to go down there. The Shadow Hunter too low to do anything. No heal wave on it. And, in fact, I suspect we're going to see the Shadow Hunter go down momentarily as well. Blade Master getting very low there. Does escape in the nick of time. And there we go. We've got some more of the Tauren coming back out here. Going to TP out for the Blade Master. Level 4, almost level 5 on the Paladin. We do have level 5 on the Alchemist. And that Mountain King is about halfway to level 4. So Junkerz getting some great experience out of this. And if we take a look at his base, he's got plenty of gold, plenty of wood as well. So despite a weak early game and getting some harassment damage here, I would not be surprised to be saying in 10 minutes that Junkerz is in the lead position, especially because Soso and Ostone are not going to go out easily to each other. Ostone going with a very bold expansion here towards Soso, and it looks like he may ignore this and just go for Soso's expansion as well, trying to completely starve him out. We'll see how long this lasts, but this will be interesting. So we do have both expansions going down here, it looks like. And will Ostone actually try and push into Soso's base is the question. Shadow Hunter does go down there. We see Mountain King getting closer and closer to level 4. Paladin is just a click away from level 5, and there it is with that Tauren going down. And the Blade Master is very low in the back of it. This should be GG for Fetta, and that will lead into a 3-way where I think we're going to have a very interesting position to see who's in the best shape. Honestly, I think with the way things are playing right now, it may be Junkerz. Especially because he almost has level 6 on that Alchemist, and Transmute is just a fantastic ultimate ability. Soso forcing some TPs here, but does leave behind 2 tanks, which should go down to Ostone. So, sloppy play there, and as you can see, Ostone has picked up a Staff of Silence on that Death Knight. Only one, though. Somewhat surprised we don't see dual Staffs of Silence. And there we go. Ostone does not want to call a truce yet, probably for good reason in his case. He's in a solid position, I think. Alright, well, we're going to go ahead and assume Fetta is out here. He is talking the way he normally does. So we've got Soso down to 40 gold. Ostone is at 5,000, and Junkerz is at 5,000 as well with a higher army. Can see Soso has level 5 armor upgrades. Are you kidding me? Like, really? This is not necessary, guys. Human has enough advantages already. We do not need to see tanks have level 5 upgrades. As you can tell, I'm an elf player, by the way. There we go. We do see the Mountain King go down, and Soso now forced to back that Paladin up, but he's got the tanks in his army actually blocking off the Paladin, so the Paladin is going to go down here, I think. Quick nuke Nova from Ostone, and actually decides to go ahead and not do that. Instead, focusing on some of these Spellbreakers. Archmage still trying to get healed up back there, but only 625 health on the Archmage. Really just not a very awe-inspiring or confidence-inspiring decision that not to put any extra health vitality on that. So I'm getting a little bit distracted right now, trying to zoom around and see what's going on in other parts. Junkerz has hit level 6 on the Alchemist there, so that is really going to be an important part of this battle, because even should Soso somehow get ahead here, or should Ostone get incredibly strong, Transmute will help solve that, and he's got to figure that tanks will help solve Ostone in general. I mean, Undead against tanks is just not a very fair matchup, so it may be a 2v1, 2 humans versus Ostone if they play this intelligently, and if they play this like they want it to keep going for more than another 20-30 minutes. However, the Archmage is getting low again, gets healed back up, but we can see just how close it gets to dying every time. Junkerz, meanwhile, only has level 2 armor upgrades on a siege engine, so he has not yet figured out that you can continue to upgrade them infinitely, apparently. Who knows how that works, but we'll see what the max level tank we can get in this game is. Aren't you excited? I know I am. I'm really excited for that. Alright, so just looking across the board, still somewhat mediocre items on the Alchemist, although they have improved a little bit. Mountain King actually pretty good here. The Pendant of Mana, a very nice item. Django of Endurance, that obviously helps quite a bit as well. And then Staff of Silence on the Paladin. So Junkerz now looking in pretty good shape with his heroes, I think. And he's going to go ahead and finish taking out Fetta, it looks like. Ostone has some pretty nice items as well. We can see you've got the Spell Blocker and Staff of Silence there. So he's done a nice job stacking his heroes up as well. As we saw earlier, it does not look like Soso's had either the time or the money to manage to stack his heroes, really. And in addition to the fact that Ostone just has much higher hero levels, that really has factored in, because when you can silence the other army and stuff like that, not entirely fair to the person that's impoverished here. And there we go. Fetta Ook was taken out of the game, so it's a three-way, and Junkerz immediately going on to Ostone. So you got a feel for our undead brother here. Getting 1v1 with a human is pretty hard to deal with to begin with. Having to fight a human 2v2 is, or 2v1, sorry, is never really what you want to deal with. However, he does have a pretty good army to fight Junkerz right now. Junkerz has not gone very siege engine heavy because he has a lot of Griffin Riders from fighting the Tauren. So that will help him out, and I suspect Ostone should be able to take home this fight here. We do see that the Gargoyles have gone ahead and gone stone formed, and no nuking on the heroes yet. Perhaps it's because they just have so much experience, so much health on them, or perhaps that's not Ostone style with undead. But regardless, he is the one to lose a hero first, interestingly enough, because of the pure DPS you've got there, and then the nuke power of Mountain King and Paladin. Other side of the map, Soso continuing to take down the expansions on the other side of Ostone, so he's got enough gold to live for a little while longer, but he's down to 50 at 7,000 gold. That is really one buyback to 100, and then maybe an extra 20 food on top of that, whereas Junkerz at 5,000 with 80, but he's going to be allowed to bank. He's got 4 expansions once this completes. He's going to be in very, very good shape, I think. Let's see, do we have any more? Nope, so still level 5 on the siege engines. A mere reasonable level 5 defense on them. But Soso, really, his big problem right now is heroes. Level 4 Archmage, only 600 HP. Level 3 Mountain King, 850 HP. Level 3 Paladin, 775 HP. You know that Soso is well aware of how dangerous this is, and honestly, I'm a little bit surprised he's not going to cut down to 50. Perhaps he's just going to send a mass wave of tanks into Ostone's base in order to ensure that A, Junkerz realizes he's actually helping the fight, and B, weaken Ostone a little, and then C, that will come down to 50. If he does that, he can go ahead and bank off of 1 gold mine for a little while. Actually, it looks like he's going off his main as well, so bank off of 2 gold mines for a little while. Because he really could use some more gold, and nope, he's good on wood now. I was unsure if he was out of wood earlier. And what's going on, Dota? Good to see you. Anyway, it looks like Ostone is going to have to take another fight against Junkerz. Junkerz going for a very heavy air army here. Somewhat surprising because you typically see a pretty cookie-cutter tank army, and perhaps we'll have a 3-way fight with Soso showing up. He does have a decent army to take on both of these people, although I think that is not where he wants to end up in this fight. But he... no, alright. I can't tell if he just doesn't have control of his army or if he's looking to take on a fight. I can't imagine he wants to, but it looks like he actually is going to try and engage with Junkerz. So Soso playing the smart here and realizing Junkerz is in the strongest position helps to send him away from Ostone's expansion. And we'll see if he cross-hits on some of the other plays. Very smart play by Soso there, I think. Made the right decision. But that will allow Ostone the time to grab a second expansion, and it looks like Soso is going to go ahead and grab that second expansion as well. And there we go, we have yet another armor upgrade for these tanks, because apparently whoever designed this map decided that tanks were the best unit in the game. But there are 4 expansions up and running for Junkerz. 2 of them are pretty low on gold, about 1,500 left in the one that's dying, so that's not even really worth rebuilding. There's 5,000 though in the top left, 500 there, and about 4,000 there. So Unfortunately for him, the ones that are dying have a little bit more gold in them than he'd like. If we look at Ostone, though, he's down to 4,000 on that mine. This mine over here still has the most gold in it. It's got 13,000, I believe. And 10,001 Soso's picking up there. The one Ostone's grabbed, 16,000, so that's the most. While Junkerz is in good position with the most gold and the most expansions right now, probably not going to last for very long based on the fact that A, they're both teaming him, and B, he's going to run out of gold before too long. So it'll be interesting to see how he transitions into that and if he takes full advantage of transmute, which I'm sure he will, but you've seen weirder things, I suppose. There we go. So looks like I have no idea what Soso's doing. Soso apparently decides that he's just trying to take this expansion as well, and if Soso can work this out, get protection on his right side from Ostone, he is going to be in fantastic position to hoard up at 50 and get into good shape. As I mentioned, he did send out some tanks to just go ahead and get killed off. And now we have Ostone going ahead, taking out some of Junker's dead peasants as well, and getting a little bit of free experience, but actually clearing up some room for Junkerz as well that he can probably use. So, excuse me. So here we go. We do see that Ostone's are being able to tear through this pretty quickly, but not sure he's in the position where he wants to take this fight with Junkerz. Do you see the Dragonhawk Riders? They have level 4 upgrades on their attack, so poor Ostone's the only one that's figured out you can go... The only one that's not figured out you can go above the typical 3-3 upgrades. 4-3 on those. Tank's still at 0-2 though, so I think Ostone's got to be pretty comfortable fighting Junkerz. He's got to pick the right time and place, but wouldn't be surprised to see him continue to be comfortable with that engagement, whereas Soso really had the undead style picked out in just going mass tanks to take him down. And it does look like we've still got another temporary alliance for Soso and Ostone. Important though, Ostone has to realize that Soso is sitting at 50 and going to be in very good shape gold-wise in another 5 or 10 minutes. Soso with the idle peasant there probably could use it to grab a little bit of extra gold in the meantime. But 2 gold mines for Soso worth 26,000 right there. That is a game changer for sure. We do see Ostone and Junkerz trying to take a fight here. Junkerz with that level 6 Paladin. We've got the level 6 Mountain King and the level 7 Alchemist. He's got the best heroes so far. Dreadlord not that far away from hitting level 6 though. Lich has hit level 6. Not the most useful thing ever. And adding on to Ostone's advantage is the fact that he's got a few heroes of the human army composition to help him out as well. So Junkerz doing a nice job just getting all of these Gargs right over the 2 siege engines, but Ostone takes the wise move and just goes ahead, stone forms them, pick off some of the regular units that he is unable to get without nuking, and then backs the gargoyles up to prevent them from going down. Ostone really would like to take out some of the siege engines here, and that's the advantage Junkerz is going to have. He's got transmute, so you can take down siege engines from Soso or breakers, frostworms, what have you. Really a huge game changer there, and the Archmage getting really low does get staffed out there, but no TP on either one of those heroes, so they do have to be very, very careful. Definitely could see some of Soso's heroes going down with not much of a fight put up. And here we go, another little bit of harassment here. Shredder going down won't be a huge deal because he does have plenty of gold. Sorry, plenty of wood. But if he can clear this out, it's only got 100 left, so he's TPing in essentially to just try and take Soso down. Do see that we have Paladin go ahead and staff up here, and really not much to be done. He'll take down these 2 siege engines, and does have to be careful because he would not want to lose that yet. Transmute will take care of one of these tanks, and then the other one will go down relatively easily. And actually doing more damage than I would have guessed, but in good shape. I would like it to be noted, 14 armor on the tanks now. Level 6 upgrades. Level 7 upgrade is on the way. So Soso has really figured out how to game the system here. Somewhat surprised that we don't see dual blacksmiths for both of our human players and dual graveyards for Ostone. Although I'm not actually sure Ostone's figured out he can go beyond 3-3 upgrades yet. poor guy's playing at a little bit of a disadvantage. But should things continue, we'll go ahead and talk about that after this. Archmage does have a TP on it. Let's see if they're going to, go ahead and use it. Smart move on his part there. Staff of Silence on the Paladin for Soso. Finally gets to pick that up. And Soso using some militia to take down the Town Hall. Interesting concept. Probably just going to go ahead and die to Junkerz. Excuse me. Sorry about that. But anyway, I was going to say, we can add up the collective gold left here. So we've got 15,000 that mine. 23, and then 31. So 31,000 gold in the expansions for Soso, 1,000, 4,000, and 16,000 basically. 16,500 roughly for Ostone, so about half the gold. And then the real problem here is going to be Junkerz with only 2,000 gold left in his expansion. He should finish mining it at 50, but that will really be a major problem for him later on, I think. Due to the fact that he's going to have to take on one of these players, and ideally he's going to try and take out Soso so he can get to the higher gold expansions, but may have to go after Ostone, and Soso is a player you don't want to let live. This is what I meant by the upgrades, by the way, practicing. You can see he's got 1-7, so the armor is a level 7, 17 armor on it. If we look at the tanks, wherever they went, not sure if he has any left, actually, but he's currently upgrading to level 2 on his attack, but level 8 on defense. Junkerz, I believe, has... Well, let's see if we can find any. Yep, Breakers are at level 4. He's doing a more even job of upgrading them all, but instead of the normal Tier 1, Tier 2, Tier 3 upgrades we have, it seems to be infinite for how far you can go in terms of your armor upgrades and your attack upgrades from either the blacksmith, graveyard, presumably Hunter's Hall, etc., etc. And there we go. We do see the Dreadlord getting really low there. It does go down to Junkerz. Junkerz at level 7 on that Paladin. And we've got the Mountain King in Avatar right now. Let's see if he gets greedy and goes after the Lich. Looks like he's not. Just going to go ahead and back off now. But we do see that Spellbreakers are at 17 armor, which is somewhat ridiculous for a Spellbreaker. This is not actually a new game format. I think somebody was just testing out the map, made some edits, and forgot to change them back. I have no idea why they played on this map, but it was just a fun custom game, so it didn't really matter. It wasn't like it was a tournament game where that would actually play a very large role, especially because, as I've said before, I don't think Ostone realizes that you can go beyond the upgrades. Lich getting very low, but does have a Potion of Lesser Invulnerability as well as the Death Knight. Should be in alright position. But let's see now. So we've got Soso's up to 3,000 gold. He's going to be hurting for wood before too long. Junkerz is at 8,700, but he is pretty much out of gold. Ostone at 5,500. He is above 50, though, unlike most of our players, and really burning a lot of gold because of that. And Magadansky with the wise advice of, if somebody's going to transmute your worms, then first time, shame on them. Second time, shame on you. Third time, really, you should just stop making them at this point. Come on. So that's why we should be seeing Ostone go for a pretty much pure gargoyle upgrade, you would think. And yeah, Junkerz did discover it a while earlier. He's had level 4, actually level 5, level 4 on the breakers, so he may be making the best use out of it by going for the attack upgrades as well. Adding in that high-level paladin, and these things are going to be a bitch to take down. But still, we only have one blacksmith for each of our players, which really surprises me. I guess it might be due to the limited resources, but you'd think you'd see more involved with that. Mass Griffins and some riders for Junkerz, it looks like, at the moment. He is going to stay away from that tank army. For better or for worse, for the insanity of myself and the entertainment of this game, I do appreciate that. There's only so many gargoyle tank breaker battles you can take before you run out of things to say about them. But let's take a quick look around our heroes. We got level 7 on the Death Knight, level 6 on the Lich. Dreadlord is back out at just shy of halfway to level 6, and that will be a big moment in the game when the Dreadlord gets its ultimate. 6,500, 5,000, 60 of 90. Ostone's still playing it really close with these towers here. If he loses these 4 ziggurats, he's going to be down to 50 and unable to keep building. He is really making me nervous because I know if I was in his position, I would lose those. I'd get food blocked. I wouldn't be able to use the rest of my gold. Soso, meanwhile, still quietly mining away here. Oh, Junkerz going for a hidden army already. Interesting. As I was saying, Soso continues to mine away. He's getting a little bit low on wood, but he has gotten out a shredder, so he should be in good shape now. Mining off of 3 very, very good mines, though, that had a lot of gold in them. And continuing to stack up his heroes now. He is the worst shape in terms of those. 4-3-3, but may be able to make up for an economic advantage late game. Also, he is really upgrading his units as much as possible as we speak. Somewhat weak base, though, would not be too hard to take it down. Also, can we talk about the fact that I'm really happy we don't have more upgrades for our towers, because that would just make this absolutely miserable. And then we have our third and final player, the one that took out Fetta early on, the strongest in the game, and that is Junkerz. He's going up to his full 100 food army, building another mine to take out Ostone's final mine here. And Ostone is not very happy about that. He really thought that it would be better if Junkerz took one of Soso's mines here. But I can understand wanting getting out your strong competition, knock him out as early as possible. He does have 777 heroes, thus, 776. We cannot confirm Junkerz is the devil. I take it back. That was libel. My bad, Junkerz. But he's at 100, and really no reason not to be. This is a move I like because he's not mining right now. However, he does need to go ahead and push so he can knock it down to 80 food. He is taking advantage of the upgrades, though, as we can see, lining them all up and burning a lot of gold and wood on it. So we'll see if that turns out to be beneficial in the long run. It is definitely amusing to see it. I'm not sure if it is the right call or not, though. But looking at his heroes, you can see he's just got great items on them as well. And it's going to make Soso's job a lot harder to take on either of our 2 higher level players right now. What Ostone was complaining about was the fact that Soso has 3 mines which are all incredibly full, 4,000, 10,000, and 5,000. So that's 19,000 gold on the map. There's only one other mine than the 3 Soso has, and that's the one that was just taken from Ostone. So Ostone is unhappy that Junkerz is taking the mine from Soso, or sorry, from Ostone instead of from Soso. And now it looks like he may actually try and take out Soso, which would not be a bad decision. If Ostone is smart, he can go ahead and attack the expansion, grab the second mine. Sorry, he does have 1 more expansion, so 5 mines on the map. But this is a pretty good move here by Junkerz, I think, and he realizes Ostone's been allowed to hoard for a while. Sorry, Soso. Can never keep my players straight, apparently. He realizes Soso has been allowed to hoard for a while, and is going to have a good amount of gold, but has also been sitting at 50, so he's going to have to blow all that gold in order to upgrade, and also those hero levels are just incredibly small. And there we go, we see Ostone actually going for a takedown of Soso as well, taking this expansion that has the most gold in it for himself, most likely. It'll be interesting to see if he continues to hit Soso at all, or if that goes towards hitting Junkerz next, which would be the smart move. We do see silence go off on Junkerz heroes here, but the Paladin does get stunned, goes ahead and uses a shield. They are going to back off a little bit here. And it looks like the better army right now probably going in the favor of Soso. He's got those mortars thrown in there. A lot of tanks that are not doing anything for Junkerz purely because of the fact that there's no air on Soso's side, whereas Soso's tank's doing a good amount of damage to these Dragonhawk Riders. So Soso's doing a nice job of defending himself despite being at a huge hero disadvantage right now. Paladin goes ahead and uses Potion of Lesser Vulnerability there. Finally level 5 on that Archmage, and has done a nice job of using Silence as frequently and often as possible. And Paladin gets low there, but does use his own shield, and Alchemist is very low, but a nice save at the very end by Paladin. And looks like we are going to see the hero disadvantage finally come into play as the Mountain King does go down. That's level 7 for the Avatar. Sorry, for the Mountain King, which is in Avatar right now. With the 777 level heroes, we can now confirm Junkerz is in fact the devil. Ostone not taking advantage to try and do anything right now. Instead, he is just hoarding in his base, it looks like. Hard to tell from just the minimap. But Junkerz, despite the fact that he's taken down that hero, has to be very careful with these Griffin Riders, which do have the 5-3 upgrades. We can see 3-7 on the tank, so despite having level 7 on the defensive upgrades there, they've not gone for level 4 attack upgrades. And now he's very low on wood because, as you can see, really doesn't have any peasants mining wood. In fact, does not have any peasants mining wood, and the Goblin Shredder died earlier. So Soso, if he is not careful, could run out of wood conceivably here. This is going to be a tricky situation for Soso to prevent the Alchemist from just coming in and transmuting tanks left and right, though. If you time it right, you can manage to staff your tanks out of the way. Persuade was a great player for that. Really was able to kind of out-manipulate the Alchemist a lot of the time and had about a 50-50 on keeping those tanks alive. So that's got to be Soso's hope if the Alchemist does come around to transmute harass him. And here we go. It does look like Junkerz is going to go ahead and fight Ostone as well. Ostone has just gotten this expansion up, and it will be allowed to live, it looks like. Maybe Junkerz just hasn't made up his mind yet. We do see he's at 82, so an interesting decision to be at while he's mining down to 80. There we go. That makes a lot more sense for him. And looks like he is going to back off for now. And just scouting out, seeing if there's anything interesting in the marketplace right now. It doesn't look like there is. But Soso, for as well as he was doing while he was hoarding, now is in the position of not having any gold mines, whereas Ostone's grabbed 2, and Junkerz has 1. Junkerz at 4,080 of 100, 4,800 for Ostone, 77 of 100, and we've got 3,072 of 84 for Soso, so he's the lowest in gold and the lowest in heroes. Not a good position to be, and there's another transmute by the Alchemist as we're talking. And if I'm in Junker's position, I'm probably going to go ahead and just kind of camp out here and use that Alchemist to do some harassment damage, to get some more gold. Just take down as much of the stuff as I can for Soso, but I would want to hit before that Mountain King gets back. So I think that is a good defining point that you want to make sure you can get a full attack going before that Mountain King's out. It's only got 700 health in the altar now, could be taken out relatively easily. Looking over here, we do see that despite the fact that the Dreadlord has been very close to grabbing level 6 on it for 15 minutes now, still has not yet managed to do so. So that really could be a problem for him, I think. Because Inferno would be a great ultimate to have against all these tanks. And there we go, we do see that Junkerz is going to go ahead and do some harassment damage there. And it looks like we may be doing just some back and forth harassment damage. If that's the case, I'll go ahead and bump the speed up to 2 times. It's been a great action-packed game so far. We're 52 minutes in without a pause. But when you do get down to these 3 ways at this point, it can get a little bit slow, so that is the beauty of having a replay. We can kind of speed things along a little bit, make it more interesting if we need to do that. But Ostone continuing to do some harassment damage to Junkerz, kind of a tit for tat because of the takeout on Ostone's recent expansion. But the key point being, Ostone actually does have an expansion left and running with 1,500 in it, which will be taken out by Junkerz here, it looks like. Nope, he is going to let it live, so interesting decision there. Just looking around, I'm trying to see if we have any more upgrades going on. Doesn't look like we do at the moment. So let's go ahead and bump this up to 2 times speed, see if the Gargoyles actually can take down the Town Hall. It seems somewhat unlikely. So Gargoyles continue to just go ahead and float around the map a little bit. We do have the gold mine was unsummoned with only 1,000 gold left in it, and Soso is at 1,000 gold now. He does have a pretty good 80 food army going on, but it's not going to be able to do too much right now. And here we go, Ostone is going to have to face this army coming in. He does have his army split up right now. He's going to have the worms be an issue, I think, with transmute, and silence goes off on the Dreadlord, not able to get sleep or swarm off, and this is not a good fight for Ostone right now. The Gargoyles do have a nice flanking position. They're away from the siege engine, so that is good for him. However, you can see how big an effect Slow is having right here. Death and Decay going off. You don't often see that, and probably for good reason. Dreadlord does go down, does not hit level 6, unfortunately, and wouldn't be shocked to see the Lich go down here either. No silence to go off. Oh, there is a silence that goes off on the Death Knight, and the Potion of Vulnerability, nope. Going to use a Scroll of Town Portal instead, so not a good fight for Ostone. And as I was talking about earlier, he is now food blocked at 50. This is exactly what I was afraid would happen to him. Junkerz in good position to keep pushing here. You got to figure that it's going to be a 2v1 with Ostone and Soso against Junkerz. And here we go, Soso leading with the mortar teams. This could also be very bad news for him if he doesn't get, does not get into a good position. He is chasing down these tanks, though. We'll see if he's able to do much damage to them. Looks like Junkerz is in no huge rush to take a fight right now, but he is going to try and do some damage to Ostone. Ostone doesn't even have any Ziggurats building. In fact, I don't believe he has a Alkalite in his main base, so one of these worms is going to die to transmute, and that may be a small blessing for Ostone in the long run. And he's down to 52. He needs one more tank to go down. Sorry, one more worm to go down before he can start building a whole lot. Paladin is silenced, does have a staff of Potion of Lesser Invulnerability. Could he lose it out of sheer carelessness? Ooh. That was very, very close there, Junkerz. Ballsy play on your part. Wow. Looks like he did get the shield off just in the nick of time as well. But if that TP hadn't gone off, I'm not sure he would have managed to keep it alive. And that is a very important part. Soso is pointing out that Junkerz has 5,000 left in his main, and if you were not going to get teamed already, that would be a very good reason to team him. And there we go, Ostone saying, yeah, well, I'm food blocked at 50 and have 3k gold. That is a good point. He does need a few Ziggurats to come up, and here we go. He is going to finally get his Ziggurats up in the main base. That will allow him to get that Dreadlord back and go up to 100 food one more time. Soso, on the other hand, not going to give up here, and he has a fantastic army to take down the mass griffs here. In fact, really, Junkerz does not have a great army to fight either one of the players right now. But you can make up for it in heroes, and given enough time, that Alchemist alone will tear through most of the army. It is a question of how much can Blizzard do versus how much can some nuke damage from Junkerz do, but you can see Griffin Riders level 6 on the attack, but only level 3 on the upgrades. It could be because there's level 7 armor upgrade here on the tanks, and the Paladin getting really low, but does go ahead and use a Divine Shield. Soso's Mountain King getting low as well, and should pop that. Nope. Goes ahead and uses a staff, and that's going to be bad news, because that means that the Paladin's going down, and that is a really big mistake for Soso right now. So there we go. Soso down to 66 food, 2,000 gold. Junkerz at 90 of 84, so there is a slight food block. I don't imagine it'll be a huge problem. 2,000 gold, 5,000 in his main. And Soso really needs Ostone to communicate with them and help him out here. Nice job by the Spell Shield taking that bolt there. Otherwise, that Archmage would have been pretty much halfway dead. And Mortar goes down there, TP out by the Archmage. However, Soso's got to be feeling under a little bit of pressure right now. And he's going to lose one of his tanks as well. Something he cannot afford to do. Ostone, it does look like, is going to sneakily try and get some expansions up, though. Bottom left, it's going up right now. He's scouting the top right. So if he is allowed to sit alone for long enough, then he will have hero levels that can at least keep in the same ballpark as Junkerz. If Junkerz is smart, he's going to go ahead and take out Ostone, though. And that looks like what the case is going to be here. Soso not particularly happy about the fact that Ostone's not helping him, and it does look like Soso is going to go for the mass copter army to try and take out these griffins. And there we go. Ostone not going to be able to get that sneaky expansion up, and Junkerz has a great opportunity to just take out a ton of these ziggurats here. We'll see how he decides to play this, but again, we're going to have Ostone go back to a food cap, it looks like. Now 6-5 upgrades, 6-3 upgrades on the Griff, 6-5 on the siege engines, and Ostone has switched over to a mostly Fiend and Frostworm army. We'll see how this works out for him. Frostworms are always in trouble from the Alchemist, and that's a lot of gold to waste on building a worm so it can just be transmuted. But there we go. It does look like Soso going to come in from behind here, and really nice positioning now by Soso. Takes down at least one of these siege engines, probably two here. Lich is getting very low, but does have a potion of vulnerability. Another siege engine can go down, and this is a very big overextension for Junkerz. This is the type of game changer that was needed, and there we go. There comes the TP, but will it get all the units? It does look like it will at the end. Soso and Ostone need to be careful not to kill each other off now, but that brings Junkerz down to 64. He's only got 1,600 gold left, 1,400 wood. No expansions. Ostone now putting up a second expansion as we speak. And that was the type of play that needed to happen in order for either Ostone or Soso to have a chance at winning this game. And we've also got Soso managing to do a little bit of mining, although it's not like he's got a ton, and he'll try to put up a second expansion as well. So we'll go ahead and bump this up to 2 times speed again. Just looking at the base here, Junkerz looks like he may fall into the army, fall into the trap which so many human players fall into, which is just having a very dominant early game. And here we go. It actually looks like Soso is going to take this fight right back to Junkerz. He does manage to take, well, not quite. Does not take it down, in fact, at all. Looked like he was going to take down that griffin for a little while, though. And Ostone requesting that he be allowed to leave here. So Junkerz is completely fine with that. There goes the tank. Needs to get that staff action off there, or figure out a way to kill off the Alchemist. Ostone doing a pretty nice job of manipulating here, though. He is going to be mining off of 2 mines before too long. And if he just allows Soso and Junkerz to fight each other off, this could be good news for him. We do see Paladin getting very low there, and staffed out of the nick of time. Soso does have to be careful, though. He has a TP on the Archmage, but no TP on the Mountain King. Cannot afford to staff out that Archmage right now. But Junkerz just carelessly managing to lose a unit here or there that really he could not afford to lose. Flying machines are a decent counter to the Griffs, but you can see even 2 tanks, or even 1 tank actually, is just managing to fend them off right now, despite the flying machines having level 7 armor upgrades. And we are looking at Soso's heroes. Maga telling Ostone that he really shouldn't be complaining in this instance, and perhaps he's onto something there. But Ostone deciding that he really doesn't have the will to keep playing, it doesn't look like. Asking if he'd be allowed to just drop out of the game. However, if we add up the gold here, he's got 7,000 on that mine, and he's got 5,500 on that mine. Another 12,500, of which you could see probably 7,000 if this goes well for him. Really not the end of the world. The problem is he needs that Dreadlord to get up to level 6, and he needs it to stop dying. But if he can just nuke down one of these Griffin Riders, that should be enough to put him over the edge. Does have to be very careful, though, and as I said, try not to lose it again. There is a massive problem when you start losing that Dreadlord right before it hits level 6, and there it is. Let's see if we can go ahead and get a quick Infernal here. Silence does go off on the Lich, not on the Death Knight. Death Knight able to heal it up, and in comes Soso. He has at least a couple of targets here. He can try and take on the Griffs, but gotta be careful he doesn't lose them instantaneously. If I'm in Junker's shoes, I'm just going to use the Alchemist to start one-hitting them, because that Alchemist is going to do a lot of damage when it's in Chemical Rage. But it looks like we're going to... Oops, sorry about that. We are going to have Junkerz just back off a little bit here and trade off a quick heal on some of his units for kill on a flying machine or 2 or 3, as the case may be. Ostone actually getting his ass in gear, though, and moving his army towards Junker's base. Junkerz has slowly gotten down to 67 food and a single gold right now. So, despite his hero levels, he is not in great shape in terms of just the amount of longevity he'll be able to have in this game. And let's see if we get a Lich using Death and Decay here. Nope, just gonna go for a quick Nova. Probably a smart move on his part. But Death and Decay could play a big factor on some of these towers later on. Unfortunately for him, if he had upgraded some more armor on these Fiends, they could really be doing a lot of damage. As the case is, they're taking a lot of damage. As the case is, they're still pretty squishy to everything involved. And there we go. We do see Soso coming in from one side while we have Ostone on the other. And do we have any hidden army here, actually? So we've got some peasants cross-mapping here for Soso. I'm curious if Soso has anything hidden away. Looks like he's at 68 food, so probably not. But it would be smart of him to start hiding away a few tanks. And this Lich getting very low to have a potion, and the DK comes in, saves it at the very nick of time. Silence was not quite in time to prevent him from saving the Lich. And now both of them will go ahead and back off. Soso building up a expansion on top of Ostone's expansion. Let's see what he decides to do. And is this a backstab right now as it's predicted? It looks like it is going to be a backstab, so Ostone not in the best shape to fend off one human, let alone 2 humans. This may be a free-for-all in the true sense of the word, where everybody's just hitting everybody whenever they feel like. And here we go. Good positioning for Ostone. Terrible positioning right now for Soso. Gotta imagine that some of these heroes are going to go down very quickly. And it's interesting. Ostone probably should just allow him to have it. Soso could have asked him for it. But I'm not sure it's worth killing off both ears. And there we go. We have the Infernal come out. And will some of the siege engines go down? That is a big question, since those are the most expensive unit in Soso's army right now. Mortar is going to go down pretty quickly. And Ostone not able to keep these Fiends alive. They are just going down to the breakers. Boom, boom, boom. Heroes are up to almost level 6 on the Archmage, which is a bonus right there. Level 4 on the Paladin, and level 4, almost level 5 on the Mountain King. Another kill will get some great hero levels on the Archmage and the Mountain King. And Surround goes off on the Paladin. Will we have a staff from one of the other heroes? It looks like we probably will, and a nicely timed staff on Soso's part there. Really very, very well played. 3 HP according to Magadansky there. Can't tell why he'd lie to us. But we've got the Archmage getting really, really low, and a combination sleep would take him out. It looks like that's not going to be the case. And the Mountain King get away as well. He's just going for the siege engines. He is not actually going to be going after the heroes, it doesn't look like. So there we go, and in the main part of the base, we do see the Paladin go down to Junkerz. Easy, easy kill on his part, and Soso may have overextended himself here. Props to him for making it an interesting part of the game, at least no sitting around, but not the greatest winning strategy. On the other hand, I'm sure this game was probably played at like 2 in the morning for them, so can't say I particularly blame them. Griffins will take out the altar before the Paladin can get revived. No TP by either the Archmage or the Mountain King, mostly because they don't actually have a TP. So instead, it looks like it'll just be a suicide onto Ostone's base. And Soso going with he hates Junkerz most. Which is interesting, because I really haven't seen any part where... Oh, that was legit. I mean... Junkerz legitimately did go for a suicide on Fetta. He was just able to tome Fetta instead. So we'll see if Soso is going to try and do some damage to Junker's base, or what the case will be. Junkerz being very careful not to allow any of these peasants to get away, so there's no rebuild. Doesn't allow the Shredder to get away either, just because if you can kill something, why wouldn't you? And that's 988 on his heroes. Really pulling away from Ostone, which is kind of incredible considering that both Soso and Ostone had such smooth starts to start off here. And will we see the Mountain King go down with no potion on it? We do see that it goes ahead and has a Nova Coil cast on it. Let's see if we get a sleep so that they can retime this. But in from the back, we do have Junkerz coming in behind him. And let's see if we're going to manage to have the time to take out the Mountain King. Looks like we may... Yes, it do just in the nick of time take it out there. And now he'll be able to turn his attention to Junkerz. Just going to TP out instead, so nice move by Ostone at this point. Getting the hero kill, getting out. Although he may have wanted the... Ooh, Dreadlord goes down at the very end there. Bad luck on his part. I was going to say, though, may have wanted to allow Soso to keep his heroes so that Soso could harass Junkerz. Such a shame I just ran out of beer. But here we go. Junkerz wisely going ahead and taking this out, starting to mine his main gold mine. Does not have great defenses around his base, though. Just something to note. But taking out one of the expansions. Looks like we may have Soso scouts it. Not sure if he's going to try and kill it. But wouldn't be surprised to see something come in and kill that other expansion before too long as well. Ostone trying to take this fight 1v1. We'll see how it goes for him. No Dreadlord involved in the fight. And we do have a level 9 Alchemist, which, as everybody knows, can do quite a bit of damage very quickly. And Death Knight very low. Death Knight does not go down. Just gets off that scroll of healing at the nick of time. TP's out there. Ostone down to 77 and 2,000 gold. So actually an okay position economy-wise, just because of the fact that he's been able to hoard up on everything so quickly. And here we go. It looks like we are going to see the Death Knight get very low again, and the Death Knight will get Death Packed off just in time. Takes out one of the Fiends and runs towards the towers. We'll see if he can escape here. The Alchemist, ordinarily so fast, getting slowed down by the Cold Tower, and will be forced to back off a little bit. Junkerz is at 51 right now, so he's running low on food, and he has certainly not had this be a completely costless fight. Avatar on the Mountain King, but Paladin should come in here and save it. Ooh, he's blocking it with one of his own breakers, actually. If he's not careful, this could be a problematic situation. And gets off a bolt on the Lich, prevents the Nova from going off when Avatar comes out. Actually, I'm not sure why he used that bolt on the Lich. It seems somewhat wasteful. Should have used it on the Death Knight, but Death Knight does go down there to the Paladin anyway. Level 8 on the Lich, but the Lich is all alone. 160 mana, and I will not be surprised if we see Junkerz try to dive back in and take it out again. Do we have the... Okay, we did have the Avatared Mountain King get staffed out there. Missed that somehow. Paladin getting low, but it does have a Divine Shield ability, and should get away in time. Has to be careful that the Lich doesn't get caught up here, though, because with the Alchemist coming back, I could see some bad news bears happening for that Lich. We do see Ostone at 50 now, 2,200 gold. He is mining a 3,000 mine, obviously going to try and get as much of that as he can. But Soso is very, very low right now, and this expansion he put up is only going to provide him an extra 1,500 gold or so, not including the cost that it took to put up in the first place. If we look at the top right, we can see that Ostone hiding a few acolytes. Should probably put one in his base, since I don't believe he has one, and we saw him get tragically food locked earlier. But that's just one commentator's opinion to his audience. And there we go. Junkerz kills off the remainder of his mine. So there's no gold left on Junker's side of the map aside from this 1,000 gold mine, which is kind of in between him and Ostone. And now he'll just pick on some acolytes. The Mountain King decided that it's found some people that are his size, and he's going to take them out. So there we go. We do have a tank going to Ostone's expansion now. I'm surprised it's taken as long as it has, honestly. And it looks like Junkerz is going to continue to prepare to do as much damage as he can. Soso really does not have very much gold to speak of. He's got his Mountain King on the way back now. Does have a level 6 Archmage, so later on that could provide some entertainment if nothing else. And Ostone goes ahead and probably unsummon there. Sorry I missed the exact sequence of that. But he is going to go ahead and pump some more worms because he's had a lot of fun having those get eaten up by the Alchemist. At least that's my personal opinion, because the has not been able to keep them alive for about more than 2 seconds. And it looks like going Griffin heavy now, Junkerz is. Alright, so I got a little bit of idle time. We'll go ahead and kick this up to 2 times speed. And just some typical harassment. We'll go back down to 1 time speed in a second when we get the actual fight. And there we go. So we are going to have Junkerz try and take out the remainder of the base for Ostone here. And looks like Soso's coming in. I'm honestly not sure. I presume Soso's here to defend Ostone, but never entirely sure about that. And honestly, not a whole lot to say right now. I mean, Junkerz is in good position to take some of these out as they come about. And really, Ostone could be completely building killed here. He is trying to get 2 of his heroes back at the same time. I don't believe that Junkerz has scouted that out, so if he can get those back, that might be something that'll change the tide of this fight. But as we speak, not a whole lot going in Junker's favor. Soso not doing him any favors right now. And we do see Gargoyle is going back, and there we go. We've got Death Knight is back. Dreadlord is on its way back. And almost back out. So 54 food, only 400 gold. Against a very impressive army from Junkerz. We do see taking advantage of this is Soso trying to get an extra couple thousand gold out of there as quickly as possible. Not able to take that out before it ends, so we'll have a 3-hero versus 3-hero fight. And here we go. It looks like this is going to be the engagement we were... No? Not. Alright, well, I thought that was going to be the big fight, but apparently not. Here we go, and nope, Junkerz trying to take this engagement, but doesn't look like he is going to be able to, and you gotta imagine this Alchemist is just gonna keep transmuting these as quickly as he possibly can. Soso coming in here, presuming he's gonna hit Junkerz. There we go, we do see the Infernal come out, and this should be the part where we manage to get the actual fight going on. And there we go, so silence does go off here, and Alchemist apparently is above level 10. I can't click on it, but we'll see when he TPs. Oh, Alchemist fell. What the? Sorry, I completely missed that. I couldn't find the damn Alchemist to save my life. But apparently the Alchemist is above level 10 there. So we'll see when it comes back out, but... Let's see, he's going to have to sell off some... Okay, it does have just enough to revive it. And this is going to be the opportunity that Soso and Ostone are looking for, though. If they can make a concerted push here, take out Junker's base, and most importantly, take out that altar before the Alchemist comes back, they do have a chance. And... saying 1-hero BS. The real question here, J33, is how much does it cost to tavern back a level 11 hero? Because that's what you really want to know once we get these up to level 11. Soso will be the one to grab the expansion here in conjunction with the fact that he has that other one upgrading to keep. So he's got 500, but only 33 in terms of his food. And does send the Infernal in here. We've got level 9 on the Mountain King. Infernal just doing a little bit of scouting here, not going to be able to take out the altar, which is unfortunate for them, good for Junkerz. We're going to go ahead and bump this up because it is slowing down just a little bit right now. So up, we do have somebody discover that there are creep camps left. And Ostone is going to go ahead and harass Soso's expansion, take it down. And here we go. So we do have the Alchemist over level 10 experience. It's on its way to level 11. And Soso really wants no part of having to deal with Junker's full army right now. Probably for good reason. I would not want to be in his shoes either, especially with an Alchemist that apparently is able to go over the level cap. And here we go, Ostone trying to combine the fight right now, but he is not in a great position to do so. And taking out some of these mortars. Oop, nope, good staff there to get it out. And really, Junkerz just able to survive. I mean, that's been the key of his game so far, and the Lich is getting low. The Lich will go down there, and Alchemist is definitely on the way to level 11 right now. Looking forward to seeing what it looks like when it gets there. I wonder if it's like Dota where you get the extra +3 abilities. Probably not. Death Knight getting super low there. Does pass the TP. Nice move by Ostone to save it. And Dreadlord will survive. Shouldn't be quite as much of a problem for Soso's heroes since Paladin will not be able to do damage to him. But we shall see how this goes. And if he is able to, so 1 TP there is on the Archmage, and so the bolt goes off on the Paladin. Let's see if we get a silence off on it. Just going to go ahead and staff it back to safety. Probably a good move on his part. Junkerz trying to take down which one of these expansions. He's probably not entirely sure who he's supposed to be hitting, but he is going for the chase down on Soso. Spellbreaker is either advertently or inadvertently doing some blocking for him. The Paladin still not back yet, and there we go, do get staff out of the Mountain King. Nice move on the part of Junkerz there, though. He did try to take it down, and now he's actually going to realize that this is not where the heroes are being kept. He's got to go down 2 slots down to the expansion down here in order to get to the heroes, so that'll be good for Soso, actually buy him a little bit of time. And he has figured it out. He realizes that there is an extra expansion, and Ostone going to continue mining that. That is a lot of effort for a mine that does not have that much gold in it. Just going to throw it out there. And there we go. Junkerz Mountain King is getting low. Silence goes off on the Mountain King, but not on the Paladin. And chasing it down, trying to do damage to which one of these heroes that they can. We'd see that Ostone trying to figure out where they're going exactly. Never particularly easy when they're playing Ring Around the Rosie. Junkerz just going back, trying to destroy it. If you're at Junker's point of the game, you really just want to take out one of these players permanently. And here we go. We do have Soso going to be the one to engage in this fight. He's got a couple of units that can do some damage, but I really wonder if there's anything that can overcome Junker's heroes at the moment, at least in the 1v1. Maybe in the 2v1 with Ostone he'll be able to, but not able to take out the keep, which I'm not sure that's super important, to be honest. And the Paladin does get staffed out there after using Divine Shield. We do have a TP on the Archmage still for Soso, and Ostone coming in to help engage here. He's got no TPs on any of his heroes. Lich is a ways behind still, and Junkerz will finish off the keep right now. Sleep goes off on the Alchemist. Junkerz in the possibility that he's going to lose a Griffin Rider, doesn't take out the keep, and this is just a really bizarre game. Not sure why he didn't finish that off, and he's gotten the Alchemist almost surrounded there. Couldn't pull off the full surround. Mountain King does have a staff, though, as does the Paladin, so probably not a huge worry for him. Probably should go back and finish off that keep, to be honest. Might be a good idea. And there we go. We see another Infernal come out, and maybe Junkerz will actually lose a unit here. It's been a while since we've seen him lose much. And Junkerz actually looking pretty low on these Griffin Riders. You could easily see the other one. Good 2 staffs there, does lose 1. But remember, Junkerz does not have very much gold left. Nice heal on the Spellbreaker. In fact, by not much gold, he's only got 300 gold. He may want to save some of that in case he needs to sell off to get another hero revived at some point. So, despite clearly being in the best position, I could easily see this being a case of him managing to have it slip through his fingers just from getting teamed and from not being as conservative as he should be. Ostone, on the other hand, has almost no buildings, but does have his Black Citadel still alive. Up to 1,000 gold, and he's got another 240 that he can mine from that, so enough to bring that Lich back another time or two after it gets killed off, which has been happening with pretty regular frequency so far in this game. And the Militia are indeed 18 armor Militia. They're pretty fearsome, so maybe I'd be able to take on that, maybe we'll take on the A-bomb later on, and upgraded a castle with 17 health. That is a bold move, Soso. Bold move. A player's forces are under attack. That's what I'd like to know, Maga. That is what I would like to know. We do see some more chasing around the ring here, and Junkerz discovering some more buildings that Soso has hidden, taking those out, and this is what's going to be key here. The Ostone Infernal should be just constantly doing some harassment damage, just constantly trying to take out buildings, and as soon as it's ready, send it back. Soso going for some slow damage kills on the altar here. Looks like that is not appreciated by Ostone. Not sure why. I mean, I frequently like to have my allies' gyrocopters take down my buildings. I think Ostone is just being a little bit oversensitive right now. So altar is down for Soso, and Soso going ahead and try to engage here. Does have two Dragonhawk Riders trying to take down these Griffin Riders. Not able to do so there, and really this is an interesting move because all it takes is one bad stun, one bad silence for Soso to lose a hero that he really can't afford to lose. And I keep thinking we're going to get a big fight, and we keep not getting a big fight, so we'll go ahead and alternate speeds until we have something interesting happen. Ostone really using a lot of gold and wood on getting expansions that don't really matter. This is a very smart move on his part, though. I do not believe we've seen Death and Decay yet, which this would be the perfect time to use it. Nice use of the Infernal. Make sure to heal it up. Take out as many of these towers as possible. Junkerz not showing any hurry to get back here. It does look like he is on the way, but sending them one hero at a time, it looks like. And now we've got the problem. Ostone has to be very careful not to get himself trapped in here because he does not have a TP on any of his heroes. Probably because he can't afford one. But, yep, this could be a problem for the Lich if he manages to get it killed off. Does have a Staff of Silence. Paladin is well behind here. But not going to take much to kill off this Dreadlord, and there we go. If that Death Knight had not been able to get it off at the last moment, it would have died about 5 seconds earlier than that, actually. So it doesn't turn out to be the most significant heal that the Death Knight has ever had. And the Lich could be taken out here if it's not careful. Alchemist, if it is able to do some pathing blocking. Nice job using the Frost Shield there to go ahead, do some slow damage to the Paladin. To the Alchemist, which is the DPS monster of this army. And does have to waste a Potion of Lesser Invulnerability. Let's see if Soso can take advantage of Junkerz chasing, though, and go for his main. If Ostone's smart, he's going to ask him to try and take out the main. And there we go. Lich is getting low, and Lich looks like it may be about to go down when this Death Knight is silenced. Surprised we haven't seen Junkerz able to pull that off quite as neatly as we've seen him do it in the past. And apparently he's on Skype and swearing a little bit in there as well. And again, we've got Soso going very boldly with these heroes, but especially after staffing something there, has to be careful that... Sorry, that was actually Junkerz that staffed it, so he does have 2 available staffs to get heroes out should he need to. And I would just laugh so hard if Soso decided to stab Ostone here. Ostone continuing to do damage to significant buildings, though. And we'll go ahead and bump it up a little bit, see what goes on. Looks like Soso just kind of camping out in Ostone's base, so not sure how well Junkerz is able to scout at this junction, but might be able to try and take out something of Soso's base instead of Ostone's, although Ostone is the one that really is running low. However, we do see down to 45 food for Junkerz, so he's not hoarding, that's for sure. But he also can't really afford to lose anything. Will staff out the engine, I'm for sure, and there we go. We do see the Paladin just get out of the nick of time. Has to pick who he wants to focus down here. We do see that the Archmage is getting very low, and it gets staffed out. We do have the Potion of Lesser Invulnerability on that Mountain King. They're trying to take the Alchemist out, which is personally a huge mistake, I think, because it's never going to die. But Dreadlord is very low and gets healed up at the last second there by the Death Knight, but I would not be surprised to see if that went down again. Silence is about to wear off on the Mountain King, and let's see if the Mountain King's going to go ahead and use another bolt, followed by Holy Light. What actually may make the difference here is the Frost Armor. And this is the point where Junkerz really has a great opportunity to take out some more of Ostone, because you know that there's only going to be one hero from Soso's camp to help out. We can see he is bringing in the breakers, though, going for the heavy damage, trying to do as much as possible. Interestingly enough, no hidden armies anywhere on the map that I can see. So somewhat of a departure from the typical free-for-all, where on Silverpine you got to have at least one hidden army. And Mega pointing out that Soso probably doesn't want to bring his units there. Down goes that Mountain King, because he is having them killed off to the... being killed off by Transmute pretty frequently. And here we go. Ostone is going to have to deal with a 1v1 here. Actually, it looks like we may have him just go for Soso instead. And there we go. Mass TP. Stun comes off. Let's see if the Archmage is going to be forced to have a regular TP go off here. Gets staffed instead. And Ostone comes in ready to fight, but not needed just yet. Notice how much damage, though, the Infernal's doing. I mean, it is slowly chipping away at that army over there. Down goes the Archmage. Down goes the castle, which really didn't have very much HP because it got upgraded with 17 armor. And we'll see if we're going to have the Dreadlord go down here as well. It is getting very close. Does pop the potion of Lesser Invulnerability there. Healed up. And not in danger at the immediate moment. We'll see if he'll go for the Lich then. Lich has a Lesser Vulnerability potion on it, as does the Death Knight currently. Ostone must have actually been spending a fair bit of his gold getting these Lesser Invulnerability potions, because they do go off frequently. We do have Silence go off on the Lich. Probably should have gone off on the Death Knight instead. We'll be able to coil the Lich once it gets stunned. And let's see if the Holy Light is able to take it down. No! Coil comes back just in the nick of time. We do have the tanks coming in to kill off the rest of Ostone's base as I speak, though, so he's doing a nice job of multitasking and splitting up his army as we speak. I'm not sure why he's not just going to go ahead and kill the rest of it there. That single wagon's not going to do a whole lot, or go ahead and just send the Griffin Riders with them. You can take out the rest of the army with just your breakers and heroes. But there we go. We do have the Archmage coming back, and interestingly enough, still 4 Griffins, 2 Breakers. So if they could somehow get a good mass TP into Junker's base, they might be able to finish him off. Let's see if Ostone's got any shot of managing to take out Junker's base before Junkerz is able to take out Ostone's. It does not seem like a likely possibility, but one does never know. And all these worms, there we go. Nice transmute for him, so he's got some gold back in the bank now. Junker's able to replenish his own surplus once it ran dry through his Alchemist. There we go. We see the towers are going down. The Black Citadel will be next. The Abomination going down. And there we go. GG from Ostone. He does not have enough to rebuild anywhere. Doesn't have the Alkalites for it anyway. But he is going to do as much damage as he possibly can to try and take it down. Here we go. We can see that Junkerz has his castle getting pretty low. Does he have a TP? Yes. And so he's actually going to TP before he finishes off Ostone. That is somewhat astounding, to be honest. No TP possibilities because there's no TP and no Black Citadel. But probably going to be able to get away with 2 heroes here. Guessing we're going to see at least one of them go down. On the other hand, the castle went down. Griffin Aviary is low. Workshop is low as well. And this may be exactly the provided circumstances that Soso needs to pull off a perhaps somewhat undeserving win of his own. So a very, very nice play on Ostone's part. He is abandoning Soso, which is perhaps not the best move because they can try and take out a few more of the buildings, but he did leave the Dreadlord there to take out as much as he can. Junkerz really needs a... Yep, we do have the Frost Worms just running around the map. Junkerz really does need to get a peasant somehow, though. Suppose that's unlikely to happen since he doesn't have anything to produce it. But this could be the part where he's forced to stay in his base, unfortunately. And here we go. They are going for a double strike. I cannot imagine that Ostone has any shot of winning this if they take Junkerz out. So he's got to be careful and perhaps pick a time to stab Soso when there's only a building or 2 buildings left, and try to take him out that way. And this is going to be bad news for Junkerz if he continues to lose any more buildings. He has 6 remaining buildings, and one of them is being attacked. Actually, 2 of them are being attacked currently. But we may see the Dreadlord go down here. Oof, just a nice heal at the very nick of time. However, we do have Silence go off there. Nice sleep on the Mountain King. And it looks like we're going to have the Dreadlord go down anyway. So 2 heroes left for Ostone. We've got Soso actually chasing around these tanks, trying to get rid of those. Maybe a good move on his part. If he can take those out, there's not a whole lot of siege damage that Junkerz will be able to do. And so Soso has a lot of buildings. You got to give him that. He may have somehow managed to change that into an interesting position. And Alchemist has hit level 11 for those of you that were wondering what they were talking about. And Lich getting very low there. We do have enough. Oh, Silence goes off and the Lich is going to go down as well. Alchemist is not going to be able to get to level 12 this game, though. Not enough units left, I don't believe. But Soso taking time to interrupt this fight. Unfortunately, Alchemist transmute. Maybe the gold's not going to do him any good now, but it is going to be enough to really provide some extra stability in terms of evening the army levels of the heroes. And there is a TP on the Archmage, but I'm not sure he actually has anywhere to TP. He does have some abilities to TP too, I take that back. So worst case scenario, he can get out by TPing. And you can never tell if Soso's actually confused about this or legitimately thinks that he's going to lose. But we do have mass TP coming in from Soso. He's going to go ahead and take out the rest of Junker's tanks. Junkerz wisely trying to kill off the rest of Ostone here, but he is not going to be able to. Not enough time with the tanks in the base by themselves. If we look up here, though, we can see that the Death Knight is getting low, and Ostone taunting Junkerz a little bit. So always amusing when you're losing the fight and still using some taunts. Free-for-all is the best manners of them all. And Soso is confused as to why he's at Ostone. And yeah, Junkerz really needs to go ahead and kill off the rest of Ostone's building. Let's see if... Nope, TP out, so Junkerz should be able to kill Ostone now. Don't chase him, idiot. Go kill off... No, I guess they're going to go ahead and TP. This seems like a dangerous move. I would kill off Ostone. Alright, so interesting decision here. If I were in Junkerz's shoes, I would finish killing off Ostone. Just because I feel confident you can then bring the fight to Soso, but looks like that is not going to be the case. Getting a Spellbreaker kill helps, I guess. For those of you that are just tuning in, this is a custom map where somehow that stuff all got triggered. Let's see if we get a transmute off on it. Looks like we're not. Where, for some reason, you pretty much have infinite levels and infinite upgrades, it seems like. You can see some of these breakers are 6-5. We had some tanks that were 4-7. We've seen the Alchemist get level 11, almost level 12. Not entirely sure why, but my main complaint is that tanks absolutely do not need any more armor. They are hard enough to kill as is, and they should absolutely never be given a level 4 armor upgrade. In fact, I'd be fine changing it to only having level 2 upgrade. But it has created some interesting diversions on the map, and interestingly enough, the militia had, I believe, 17 armor earlier. So, there's your fun fact of the day. And here we go. We do see the Paladin will be able to get its Divine Shield up without much of an issue. But let's see if the other Paladin will be taken down by a quick bolt. Nope. Silence is gone, and there we go. Transmute on the last of the Griffins, and it does get stunned, and it will not go down because both a staff and a shield go off, and this is the strategy they need to go for probably, is just trying to take down the workshops as quickly as possible. Really could have used the Dreadlord still being alive in order to do so, though, and taking out the Archmage could be priority number 1 for Junkerz. Really no need to chase that Death Knight around. It's not doing a whole lot. Also, probably should work on this surrounds. Ostone might have been correct on that. Sorry, Junkerz, love you, but really should be able to pull off the surround there. However, stunning that Archmage before it can mass TP away. There you go. That's a good job there, and does get staffed out. Now the Mountain King allowed to run, and Ostone just now discovering that the level 11 there. So as we can see, 2 buildings left for Ostone, a handful for Soso, and we've got 4 buildings left for Junkerz, having to leave his Alchemist behind, though, there. And here we go. They are trying to figure out a way to finally manage to take down the remaining buildings for Junkerz. Junkerz needs to figure out some way to prevent that. Really needs... Well, actually, taking out Ostone isn't even that much of a priority at this point. He needs to be able to take out Soso. Soso doing a nice job of selling off some items to keep a scroll of TP on that Archmage. Can't afford to have any of his heroes die, really. Here we go. We do have the last remaining Frostworm, who is really annoyed by the fact that its brethren were managed to be killed, and now it gets transmuted as well, but did do some damage, and everybody damage counts here. Will this be the final push for Soso and Ostone, or will they manage to survive? And here we go. They are going straight for the buildings. Good call on their part. This is quite a bit of DPS coming in here for Junkerz. If they can get any of these heroes killed off, that'll be a win for them. One of them is forced to be staffed away, and if the Archmage TPs here, yep, he is going to TP, so let's see if the DPS can go out on the Mountain King to kill it off in time, and it looks like the TP will get off just in the nick of time. And what a waste of gold on that one. It looked like it was going to turn out in their favor, but that is not the case. Popping a Potion of Vulnerability, and he has a Potion of Invisibility as well. We'll see if they actually manage to do it, and if he's smart, he'll complete the block, but Junkerz, again, unfortunately misses a block there. And wasting gold on that, actually. I guess, actually, he's got nothing to spend the gold on, so not a complete waste, but... Magadansky very impatient for this Paladin to hit level 11. But here we go. We are down to the final few remaining buildings. For those of you that are just tuning in, we've got Ostone playing Undead. He's only got 1 hero left, 2 buildings alive. Level 9 Death Knight. We can pretty much rule him out from winning this. Junkerz has been dominating the entire game. Level 11, level 10, level 10. Level 11 is a bug on the map, but fortunately it was just a fun competition. 4 buildings left, 2 of them down to about 25% of their HP, though. And Soso has very weak heroes, pretty much no units. On the other hand, he's got a lot of buildings, so if he can figure out a way to use some type of surprise attack, he might be able to do some serious damage. How he would do that, I have no idea. Maybe just sell off all his items and try to sneak some goblin sappers in or something. Not really sure, but... And there we go, actually. Goblin Zep comes out for Junkerz, so he's looking to try and... Oh, Ostone dropped an item there. That is a... I don't know. That's pretty cheap on Ostone's part. You don't like to see that in a friendly competition. But you can see that Junkerz is very worried about having... units come in for mass TP. He's got units spread over the map trying to protect himself, and is grabbing a staff teleportation, so this should work out well for him to go ahead and kill off the rest of Ostone, at least. So we're going to go ahead and just click it up a little bit until we get to the exciting part of the game, which presumably will be happening at some point. So here we go. We do have the Spellbreakers going to kill off the rest of Ostone's base. And splitting it off here, we've got the Paladin incoming, and presumably we'll see a mass TP with Archmage and the Mountain King, and Alchemist coming back. Paladin just going for the invulnerability. Let's see if he can pull off this surround. Oh, come on, Junkerz, you got this. Pull it off, pull it off. There we go. So, two of the heroes, just keep them focused there. Paladin's taking forever with this Divine Shield, and there we go. He does see the Archmage in the back of his eye, so he's going to be down to 2 buildings pretty soon. Pulls off the Breakers, just kill off the rest of Ostone, dude. Come on, Junkerz. And pretty much literally given all the time in the world thanks to this Divine Shield for Soso. We'll see if he's got the skills to keep it alive, though. Or if he's going to have some type of misfortune happen to it. So there we go. Paladin now out of Divine Shield. Does have the bolt come off. Will the Archmage make it back? No, so Paladin does go down there. And that's going to be very costly. Very, very costly indeed. And Paladin goes up to level 11. Does grab some extra stats with that. And we'll have Ostone try to come over and do as much damage as he can for the remainder of his time for the Death Knight before it does die. But we're down to 2 heroes here for Soso. He does have a mortar team. So if he can get a mass TP in there, maybe with 1 building left, he'll have some chance of doing it. Death Knight a little too quick to go down to Junkerz most likely. But it looks like this is going to be the end of the game. Here comes Soso in with his level 6, level 5 heroes. Probably also not going to be able to do much. Does get a stun off on the Mountain King to prevent it from killing off the Death Knight. But it's just a matter of time before this game is wrapped up. Down goes the Death Knight. And that'll be in addition to the building going down in a minute. And level 12 Alchemist, level 11 Paladin, level 10 Mountain King. Folks, I think it's safe to say this is the first time that you've seen that. Outside of Dota. I'll give you to a Dota. And J33 is still predicting that Soso will be the victorious one here. I find it really hard to imagine that that will be possible, but you never know. However, there we go. Boneyard slowly going down. There is a town hall left for Soso, which I believe Junkerz knows about, although I'm not positive. And there we go. So Ostone is out. It is Soso against Junkerz. And here we go, going straight for the town hall. We do see that the Mountain King and Paladin are both staying back there in order to prevent it. In comes a peasant, but the peasant is going to be scouted by the Zepp immediately. Down it goes to the Mountain King, taking no chances. We've also got a Zepp over the base there. And here we go. So we can see that going to take his chances. Soso is going for trying to get something done, but look how much damage the Alchemist is able to do alone at level 12. Almost taking down all the health in 4 or 5 hits, basically. So this may be a hopeless fight for the Archmage with Chemical Rage invoked for the Alchemist, and it should be able to take it down. So Mass TP coming out. Where is Mass TP going? It is going to the other side of the map, and this could be a really bad bad turn of events for Junkerz. It looks like he'll probably get back just in time thanks to the Paladin and Mountain King being quick enough, but only 2 things left here. And is the Alchemist actually stuck back here? I can't tell, but it looks like the Alchemist is indeed stuck. So that is a huge, huge turn of events here. And, there we go, okay. I got a little excited here. Turns out the Goblin Zeppelin is able to go ahead and just take it. Invulnerability goes off here for the Paladin. Mountain King does not have much to add to this fight, and going to have to be staffed out here or healed, and nope, just going to die because the Paladin apparently was the one to use the last staff. So this is going to be GG after the Paladin goes down. I think, there we go. Now Junkerz has managed to pull off this surround, and what a game this has been a very, very interesting game with some tanks that were idiotically high-powered, some heroes that were just well above the average they should be, and apparently not going to call it in. Soso wants that Paladin to experience a full death. Oh, and here we go. We've got Mass TP coming back in. Does take off the surround there. Let's see if he'll get a single Blizzard off here. No, he won't, but that will allow for the Paladin to get out of the surround. He does use lesser vulnerability potion. Soso at least tried hard in this game. Certainly did not give up, and there it is. GG. So that was a 2-hour game from Junkerz, Ostone, Soso, and Fetta. And Junkerz with an exceptionally well-played start. Ostone and Soso had all of the setup in the world to be the strongest here. And I'm interested to see, what does the tech overview look like? Tech percentage. So capped at 60, tied 60 there. I wonder if it counted the tech upgrades to infinity, or how that works in this case. But anyway, very, very good game overall. I'm happy that you all stuck around to watch it. For those of you who have not heard my voice before, this is Mage. I do shoutcasting for the Twitch channel and the YouTube channel. I appreciate you all sticking around to listen to me. If you would like to, please go ahead and follow us on Twitch. Subscribe to us on YouTube at youtube.com/FFAmasters. And, of course, sign up for our site at ffamasters.net. So, yeah, this is Mage. I'm going to go ahead and sign off. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them in the Twitch chat, and I'll answer them then. But I look forward to you coming back soon.